discuss and take action on Maverick County Solid Waste Authority's illegal consumption of water over a 2-year period. We have somebody here with waste management.
Anybody here from the land?
No. There's nobody here?
No.
All right.
Well, basically, I got an email this morning from Mr. Mike Castillo, who is the interim manager at the landfill. And he's basically been told by his board that we need to try and get an agreement between him and, the landfill and the district, but they've left it up to him and our management to work out the details. I did indicate that the only thing that the board's concerned with back in December when he did come to the meeting, that was the actual consumption of water. As I did go out there, and here's a picture of the 2 ponds that are at the far back of the property. They dug a trench from on their side of the property, and that trench goes all the way to their tanks. The bigger tank supplies a smaller tank with water. From what I've heard, they use a 4-inch pump, and I put a 4-inch pump into our computer system, and it brings up over a 12-hour period. It's about half an acre-foot. They also did have a pump set up as soon as you came in off of 1021. That was a 6-inch pump, and apparently they were using that to fill up a water truck, and they were carrying 2,000 gallons a day. So basically where we're at is trying to come up with actual figures based on that and invoice them for it, and then see where they want to go from there. We are very limited on our water. If they were to come to an agreement or approach the district for services from the district, they would have to go under industrial water, which is non-agricultural use, and our DMI water is very limited. So I'm not sure what their needs are, since we haven't had any discussions over it. When I started talking to the landfill authority, I spoke to Mr. Chavez, and a couple of months later he was no longer there. So I need to initiate contact with Mr. Castillo and go from there and start looking at numbers to see what they're responsible for, since we don't have an actual consumption. He was not able to tell me how many gallons of water these tanks hold. And so basically what I'm going to do is go off of that 4-inch pipe. They used a 4-inch pump to put into that little trench that they made, and I think they used it for 101 days, which was the last figures we had. I do know that they have stopped pumping since their initial appearance here at our board meeting back in December. So that's that's where we need to go. I don't know if the board wants to proceed any other way.
I feel that we need to develop a dialogue to the manager, and of course we need to do also the legal fees, whatever needs to be done.
Well, it's going to be up to them to approach the board if they're wanting water. We're not trying to peddle water. We're not out to sell the water, because we really don't have any to sell. But if they're needing water, it's going to be up to them to approach the board to purchase water. And I think all our concern is right now is the payment of what they've already taken.
The concern also that I have.
And,
whatever is ahead of that, it's another issue.
Yes, sir.
That we need to establish a dialogue with them so that we can establish how much they owe us.
Right. But if
plus interest, plus legal fees.
If we can't get them to a meeting here, well, it's going to be up to us to figure out what we think that they've used and bill them for it.
Yes.
And, but we're not out peddling water, because we don't really have any to sell.
No, that's another issue.
Yeah, because they do have access to
city water
from that hydrant that they have at the entrance of their property. So it's up, you know, it's up to them if they want something from here on forward, but start, estimating their consumption over it's about a little over 2-year period, and build them for it with interest.
So will you take care of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're gonna leave that, no action taken on it, that the manager's gonna figure out what we think they've used, and bill them and see where we stand.